Yeah.
Yep. Well, here we are. This is chapter 32 of the DC Lines podcast. My name is Greg, the Bat Daddy 52, and with me, as always, my homeboy Travis. What's up, man?
Not much, Craig. Not much. Enjoying the last couple days of my holidays, if I'm being honest with you.
All right. What does that mean? Like, you go back to school?
Yeah, in
Okay.
2 days.
Okay.
So enjoying hunting for comics, enjoying Christmas. Well, we just took down our tree tonight. So,
Dude, not just hunting. You are hitting. Like, you are coming home with dinner every night if you're hunting for comics because you've had some pretty amazing stuff come through your collection
I had a couple
here
rough
recently.
days the last few, so I had a good.
Was it the guy?
And
Was it the other guy?
I don't think so. I think they're just slow on.
Okay.
Or haven't put out any new stock or anything, is what I'm guessing. I found a place that I don't go to that I didn't know there was a store. So
Okay.
I was at the end of the night here tonight, and that paid dividends big time.
Yeah. Well, for those of you who don't know, Travis has been finding steals on comics, and he's found another guy who's doing the same thing, finding all these steals. Yeah, that's an interesting one right there. The Ozzy one.
Yeah, for Watchmen.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty sweet.
And he's had this, I guess you have like a competitor or a guy that's doing the same kind of thing you do. It's interesting. I'd like to see if you run into him again. You know?
He seemed like a nice guy. We kind of had a little bit of a chat about the availability of comics, and there was more Marvel than anything tonight that I got. I got a couple sweet Wolverine comics, but regardless, that Watchmen one was the one I was most excited for. But we're not here to talk about comics. We have a show for that. Greg, why don't you tell them about every show we have on the network?
I certainly will. We're part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network, where you can find us 7 days a week. Not us, but people on the network 7 days a week, doing shows on just about everything. World's Finest True Believers, DC Alliance Podcast, Marvel Alliance Podcast, Star Wars Alliance Podcast, Ranger Alliance Podcast, A Slice of Film, Super Civil Servants, Weird Science, DC and Marvel. And what am I forgetting? There, I think that's everything, right?
I was trying to bring up live chat while you were.
Okay. Pretty sure that's everything. So check it out. We get 7 days a week. There you go. We also have a Patreon account where you can help contribute for the show. This is an ad-supported network. It helps keep the lights on, but patrons do it as well. We have a $1 tier, which is just, giving us a thanks and telling us you love us and, listening. We appreciate the support. There's also a $5 tier that you can get early and ad-free episodes, and we also do Patreon exclusive episodes, so you get some extra stuff in there for it. Check it out. We appreciate everybody who's contributing, and anybody who wants to, pretty simple. Check out Geek Ultimate Alliance Network. You'll figure it out pretty easily. We have some paths to get there, but I think that's about it for the plugs and everything else, right?
Yeah. I heard from a friend of mine, Lil Birdie, that there may be a different co-host for Marvel Alliance tomorrow.
Okay. I'm interested to find what that is, but
you may have known and completely forgotten in the time. Like you may have. I'm pretty confident you should know, but you don't know because you've forgotten about it because you're a classic, Greg.
That's more than likely the case. Yeah, that's more than likely the case. So, hang on a second. Just trying to tweet this show link out here.
Well, before we get into our first topic, I guess while we're waiting, we're going to go into this. But
let's do it.
I picked up the 5th issue of Peacemaker from the first run back in '67. Pretty sweet. So that's going to lead us into our first topic of tonight, which is there's 2 mystery roles that are being cast for Peacemaker. This comes courtesy of the Illuminati.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just read this. I love the Peacemaker symbol, like sign for the show.
It's growing on me. Everything about the Peacemaker is growing on me. I don't know what it is, but so you open up the article right here.
Yeah.
I say I got it right here. It says Warner. Good.
Kia, a black female, late 20s, early 30s, gay, supportive, but tired wife, reluctantly dealing with her new wife's government job and the secrecy it requires, recurring guest star. And Jose, 20 to 40s, hospital janitor, who's reluctantly pulled into a discussion with the patient who confides in him, recurring role. Both these roles don't seem to be connected to any specific DC or Suicide Squad lore, but they seem to be set to play important roles in John Cena's solo series. So, Greg, with the Peacemaker starting to film this month, are you excited for this, or are you not going to get excited for this until after you see the Suicide Squad?
I'm getting more excited for it, but I don't think I would call myself excited for it probably until after I see Suicide Squad because I want to see him in the role. Yeah,
I think it's going to be good. I think for them to push it like this, they think it's good. Like they liked what they saw from the Suicide Squad and that character. And like I said to you before, I think John Cena's prime for just if it's the right role, I think he's prime for breaking out, and I think he might do that here.
Well, just reading this article about talking about both characters being connected in any specific roles in Suicide Squad makes you wonder how much Suicide Squad is going to play a role into this show, other than having Peacemaker in it. Like you might get a few references.
No, I don't think. I think this is set before he gets captured.
Okay.
Into this Task Force X. I think. I don't quote me 100% on that.
So you might get Easter eggs or something from Suicide Squad, or in the universe, but it's going to be mainly set aside by itself.
Yeah, you're the bomb, Greg.
Why would I do?
You've tweeted it on your personal account.
I know, and then I'm trying to find it on my DC Alliance account.
You just have to have your DC Alliance account as the one open before you share the link.
I tried that; it didn't work.
It should. That's how it always works.
Dude, I'm technologically.
I don't know how you does the things you do. To be honest with you, I'm very surprised. But yeah, these two roles just seem to be like extra cast that we'll see come around every once. They're recurring, but not like super important. But I'm excited for this. I want to see how he's going to look in the Suicide Squad as well, and that's a movie I'm super excited about. Not quite as excited as the next movie on the slate for DC, but I'm more excited about Suicide Squad than most people.
I agree. I mean, well, I wouldn't say I'm more excited than most people. I wouldn't agree with that, but I mean, I've been so let down lately by looking forward to movies. I think that with Rise of Skywalker, and I'll say it with Wonder Woman, I was let down by how good I thought it was going to be as to what I got. Not saying it's a terrible movie, but I just don't want to let myself down anymore. I don't want to build myself up for it. This John Cena thing didn't make sense to me. They seem to have a lot of faith behind it. And the more I see about the character and the more I start to hear about what they're going to do with the character, the more interested I start to get about it, because obviously it's going to be a big thing. So it's not something I'm going to want to ignore, can really go away. It'd be like I don't want to say if Marvel did something with Drax, I'd watch it, but I don't want to compare John Cena to that yet because I haven't seen him on this level. So I'm not going to, as you know, I don't like, what's his name? Drax. Batista.
Yeah.
I just think he's kind of a one-dimensional actor and he's not that great. But once again, I haven't seen a ton of things with him in it, so I can't judge it that much just by what I've seen.
Pretty good in Stuber.
I've heard he's good in a lot of things, and I've heard Cena's good in a lot of things too. So that's my thing, is I don't want to judge it before I see it, but I also don't want to build up like really big expectations and think this is going to be really awesome. If it is, that's cool. I'll be really surprised. But I've been let down so many times as of recent, just trying to look forward to a movie that I think is going to be amazing, and I don't want that to happen.
It's tough. Well, you better watch out come March, because
I know. I'm trying with that too, man. I really am.
No, you're not.
Yeah. No. I mean, okay. At heart, I'm trying, but like I'm not really. I
don't even know if at heart you're trying. I think we're all not trying for that. I think we're like consistent.
I want to say I'm trying. How about that?
But I guess we'll jump to the reaction or fallout from Wonder Woman 84. HBO Max sees a bumping app download with film debuts. This is from Bloomberg. And it says an estimated 100,000 users signed up for the app from Friday to Sunday, including a record 244,000 downloads on Sunday alone, according to market research firm Apptopia. Mm-hmm. It's just mobile devices, so it's just one entry point for customers, and they don't have data points for like Roku, for example. Mm-hmm. So that's still really, really impressive there. And Wonder Woman also took in 16.7 million at domestic theaters in the States, and that's with like most over 50% of the market not being able to even open. And then
I think it was 39%. Was the number 39% were open?
We're open, yeah. But then the ones that were open, they were limited. Most of them were limited capacity. Like for me, I know in Canada over 90% was closed.
Yeah.
which makes sense. Like I said, we only have a few here in this island, so and we're one of the people that will be open. But still, good numbers. They're really excited about that, and HBO Max has 12.6 million account activations in the states, which is still good when you think about it because it's just one area. Whereas like Disney Plus has about 87 million global subscribers.
Hmm.
And I don't think HBO Max would be that far behind if this was available globally, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, it probably wouldn't. The success of 10184 is weird for me because I look at these numbers and they look low compared to what I'm used to seeing for opening weekend numbers and like box office numbers. So
It's just people signed up for the apps. Oh yeah, and but Greg, see, like I only could have 40 people in my theater.
yeah, and that's what's weird because I don't know what to expect to judge as success. Now, I'm not by any means saying it's not successful because I don't know what bar you would set for this new standard of movies or how they're putting these things out. Uh, but if it seems successful, it's gotten good reviews. I mean, it's going to be a thing of the future, I think, for sure, based on the news they've put out after this and just the success of Wonder Woman so far. You know?
Yeah, I think so as well. It did make some theaters their stock go up. Some say the talk of a theater bailout helped as well, but I don't think you can deny that like this did better than Tenet.
Mhm.
So uh,
It was the
that's
number one on like video on demand first day movie.
well in Canada there was over 4 million in sales and video on demand because we could rent it. That's just renting it. That's not owning it.
Mm.
And like aligned with those positive box office numbers, WB announced that Wonder Woman 3 is a done deal and they're fast tracking it with Patty Jenkins returning to write and direct along with Gal Gadot, but they don't have a release date right now.
Yeah, this one is kind of funny for me because, Patty was one of the ones who was somewhat making a deal about the movie being streaming. And that was when the news came out about her possibly not doing Wonder Woman 3 and seeing how this is going. And then, of course, the next day she does the live stream, watch along, and on the streaming service in which she was kind of fighting against. I feel like Patty may have kind of turned a corner with this one. I feel like she maybe sees now it can be successful, and a lot of people really got to see it and liked it, and she got to have a lot more people see it, just it being out there than just being in theaters. So I feel like she may have turned a corner, and that now once again she's doing Wonder Woman 3. So it's kind of funny how it turned real quickly because I think it was only like 3 weeks ago they were talking about it's not in stone. We don't know if she doesn't know if she's gonna do it, and it was about the direction the media was going.
Or was
Yeah,
it all negotiating tactics, Craig? Like
it could
you
have been.
can't you
It,
you
it
can't
very well could have been, and if it
like or
was,
not all, but
kudos. Yeah.
could the extra bit have been negotiating tactics? And I don't think I still think she'd rather have it in theaters, but I don't think this simultaneous release thing is going to go away. And I
Mhm.
don't think that directors should hate that. If you like someone wants to watch your movie regardless of where it is when it comes out immediately, you should be happy for that. So
Mhm.
uh, apparently, according to Warner Media's direct consumer chief Andy Forssell, Wonder Woman 1984 broke records and exceeded their expectations across all Warner Media viewing and subscription metrics in the first 24 hours of the service, and they see the momentum likely to continue on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It said it had an overall box score or cinema score of B plus. It
Well,
was well
it
received.
has been watched more in its first week than any other 2020 SVOD
Yeah,
movie, just
people are
beating
liking it.
Hamilton, and Hamilton's huge. So
Yeah.
like that's still that's big numbers for apparently Screen Engine is the one that done this research.
Okay.
So I'll give them a bit of credit. I need to see more about how they actually do things to trust it 100%. But still, great numbers and great great overall buzz for Wonder Woman. We'll say that's what
Mhm.
I'll put it as buzz.
Yeah. I like that because we haven't given your thoughts yet on Wonder Woman
No,
84.
I
So
might have it. Let's take a break and we'll do that.
I like that idea. Okay, cool. Well, folks, once again, we're at Ad Support Network. We take a quick 30-second break here, put some ads in there, helps keep the lights going. So bear with us and we'll be right back. All right. And we're back. So we haven't heard it. We've been talking about Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman's success, and it's done really, really well in the box office. Apparently, by the standards that we have right now. Like I said, I don't know what you would set a success based on what's going on, but it seems to be a success. But Travis, we haven't heard your thoughts on it really, because you didn't get to join the Wonder Woman 84 review. So I've heard your thoughts and I've heard things.
Well, not all of my thoughts.
Not all your thoughts, but you showed me a lot of notes and I'm ready to talk about it. So let's get going, man. However you want to start it. Wonder Woman 84, your thoughts.
The Crisis on Infinite. Oh, sorry, I'm reading out my unpopular opinions that I have for Fans Without Borders that I haven't submitted yet. Sorry.
Right.
Okay, I broke this down in two things. First of all, I'm happy for anyone that loved the film. I mean, if this is your favorite DCEU film, props to you. I couldn't be more happy. Personally speaking, I have a film that's my favorite that people regard as their worst. Some people do and laugh at the film. So, it can be let out either way. I'm going to talk about what I liked, but first I'm going to say that there were some great points on your review. There's some other reviews like Fans Without Borders, DC Film Squadcast, and Holy Batcast, and DC On Screen are the ones that I've listened to. So I get some people hate it, some people really like it. So it's a good spectrum. And the things, first of all, the Themyscira opening, loved it. Got like a little emotional, actually kind of welled up a little bit watching it. Loved that lesson. I've really enjoyed Gal and Kristen Wiig's performances. I love Gal's character and think she's essentially Wonder Woman. She is that now. And I love how she's even getting better as an actress, in my opinion, as this goes on. Diana and Steve's relationship is just something that I really love. The 80s clothing montage, love that.
Yeah, that was fun.
The desert chase scene, I really love that. The golden armor, I love the look of that. That looked awesome. Linda Carter's cameo, love that. That was amazing. I love part of the flight scene where she learns how to fly. I have some critiques for it, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was took me back to Justice League Unlimited. That's where I got first experience to Wonder Woman, and she could fly.
Can't wait to see that.
The invisible plane theme, I enjoyed that. I thought that it could be done a little bit better, but I did enjoy them having it in there. But I wish it could have been. So that's gonna be kind of a little bit of the theme for me. I think. Oh yeah, and Wonder Woman, Gal and Kristen Wiig's friendship in the movie, their characters' friendships, Diana and Barbara. I really enjoyed that, and I hated that. That had a little bit when she's seen what she was in the White House. But I don't know if you want to talk about some of the likes first there before I jump into the dislikes.
I'll talk about some. Yeah, I think that I agree with you with the castings. Honestly, the castings were kind of the best part of this movie for me. I think everybody who's cast in the role did a great job in their role.
Pedro Pascal's performance is there too. I didn't.
Yeah. I think there were problems with some writing. There were some plot holes. There were some issues that I've discussed before.
Well, that's why I said performance instead of character.
Exactly. So I think the performances were spot on. I think they did a great job. I love the castings, and I could see any of these characters in a movie in the future and be totally fine with that because I really enjoy the castings. I didn't dislike the flight scene, but it wasn't something I was just like, oh my gosh, it didn't bring me back to anything because once again, I haven't seen Justice League Unlimited yet. I'm not tied into that Wonder Woman that can fly, loving that, so it was, there, give or take for me. It's whatever. I can take it or leave it. The invisible plane scene, a little cheesy, but I like that they put the invisible plane in there. That was simply put in there for the invisible plane thing. I don't like the way they got to that point, and we'll talk about that in the dislikes, but I get why they put that in there. And I was the same way when I opened up and I saw the Amazon scene or the Themyscira scene. It kind of brought tears to my eyes too, and I was so excited. I was like, yes! I was like, this is going to be such a great movie. And then, we'll talk about the rest. So, yeah.
Well, like I said, you guys, that was such a fantastic review. I really enjoyed listening to it, and that's a great thing that I wasn't on it because I don't like listening when I'm on it. Like I'll
Mhm.
play the episode when I'm sleeping, let it
Right.
run through just to support the network. But when I'm on an episode, I don't like listening to it very often. So I was really happy I got to hear a lot of different perspectives on it. Uh, I guess I'll talk about some of my dislikes now.
Let's hear them.
Steve possessing someone instead of appearing out of thin air like everything else, that really bothered me. That was sloppy writing, in my opinion, because uh, you could have avoided that whole. Okay, I think it's a little nonsense, and people got relaxed a little bit saying that she's raping him and stuff like
Yeah. I
that.
mean, come
You
on.
gotta calm
Seriously.
down a little tiny
Yeah.
bit. Like that's like you're kind of I don't know. You're doing disservice to that whole thing, saying
Mhm.
that. It's weird. It's stupid. It's lazy writing because if he just appeared out of thin air, then you wouldn't have this problem.
Right.
And I think it would have made his ending even better when they were saying goodbye and uh, she turned to run away and he says, I'm already gone. If he disappeared into vapor, then I think that would
No,
have hit
see,
even
I
more than
don't think dusting him away was a good idea because then you never heard the end of it.
no, I'm not saying dust. I'm saying turn into vapor. I'm not saying like you're
Yeah,
talking about
I
with
think you just do
snap.
that off screen. I think you do it the
No,
way they did it, where I think he says,
no, I think
I'll
that's
always love you."
so no, that's so where they put him off screen to say that. That's his last words. He didn't get to see it, or the audience. I thought it was just
Okay.
so lazy. We didn't even get to see him transform back, and that's the theme of this: not seeing transformation. But we didn't get to see him turn back into his regular self. That
Okay.
was like, we don't want to show this, let's save the money kind of deal. Instead of you could just have him disappear like the wall disappeared. Like the wall appeared out of thin
Yeah, but
air.
are they
The,
saving
the,
money by not
the,
showing that?
but
I
no, but
mean,
you said you didn't want like him to disappear out of thin air. The wall disappeared out of thin air. The nukes disappeared. All the wishes start
no, I
disappearing.
get it. I was kind of making a joke because I don't
Yeah.
think with Marvel dusting their characters away,
Oh,
I
I know
don't
what you're
think
talking about with the
having
snap.
that,
The
yeah,
snap.
I don't
That's why
think having
I
your
didn't.
characters dust
I didn't
away
want
would
to
be a good
mean
idea.
dust, but I just mean like
Yeah.
turn to smoke, like turn to vapor.
Okay.
Like a
Yeah.
cloud, like dissipate, and like a ghost kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like a, and that would be it. And I
Yeah.
think that would have hit better than what we got. That was something I didn't like. And Maxwell Lord's final motivation, like I was with him for
Hmm.
most of that ride, but when he gets the dream thing. Things kind of go off the rails because he's trying to get oil, and then it just goes further and further. But he has no
Right.
end plan.
No in
And
game.
the
Exactly.
Maxwell Lord that I know and I've read and seen in live action and in Supergirl and read in some comics. He's smart. He's not quite Lex Luthor, but he's pretty darn close. Like he's a pretty in some forms. So I thought this was like he never had no end plan, no exit strategy. Like he just got consumed by the dreams. Uh, I thought that was really bad. Uh,
Mhm.
Not seeing Cheetah's transformation was one thing I wanted to see that. I know some others don't, but I wanted to see that.
Yeah. Okay. That's
And
fair.
I didn't want her, especially were there literally 10, probably 10 minutes of movie time before that, maybe less, probably five, we'll say, where she has that fight with Cheetah and she asks Cheetah, Barbara, to give up her wish, relinquish her wish, and
Hmm.
she will not do it. She's like, no, don't want to. I have this power, and that happened earlier too when like they were going to destroy the stone. She didn't want it. She wanted to keep what she had.
Right.
So I don't like how they. I don't know if what I like what I would have liked for to happen was because Maxwell Lord relinquished his wish, all the other wishes that he gave would just go away.
That
That's
would
what I
have been a
want.
lot better for
That's
me
what I
too.
wanted. No, because not only because it would have been cleaner, but you could have shown Barbara after that, like transform back into herself, be
Hmm.
very angry about that, and her last words to Diana are, "I'm going to get the power of the cheetah back, no matter how long it takes."
Yeah.
And then you can show her in the third one and have her come back, and you can like actually do it more comic related than the Dreamstone. You can
Right.
have
Because
her like
you
actually
really did get much of her this movie.
no,
You
no,
know,
but
you got a little bit of
and I
Barbara,
loved
but
it.
you really
I
didn't get
loved
much
it
of her.
because there's some stuff with like Maxwell Lord and some of the I think some of the Steve and Diana stuff. Even though I liked it, went on a little too long, and I wanted that for Kristen Wiig. I wanted more of the character, but I really loved like her actual performance, and the character has so much more potential. Even though I did enjoy it, But that was another thing, not seeing her transform, and then how she was steadfast in not giving up her wish. And then the way the movie implied it, I've heard other people say that once Maxwell Lord gave up the wish, that everyone else's wishes were gone. But the way they
I could
implied it
swear
was
I heard
that
Steve Trevor say that one time
I
in the
don't
movie.
think I did. I don't think I did, but I've only seen it once. So you've seen it
Yeah,
more times than
I
me.
could be mistaken.
But I just think that just the way that was done was sloppy writing, and it was stuff like that was not in the first film.
Yeah.
I don't think so anyway.
It's very ludicrous to think, one, I don't like the way they used him to transport his message to touch everybody type deal. Is basically just kind of X-Men rip off, but it's not even touching is what's irritating. And they had scenes in the movie where people were not even watching the television or listening to the broadcast, and they were being controlled by it. And you're right, it was just sloppy writing. There's no way in hell, I'm sorry, that everybody in the world would renounce their wish.
No, but that's what the thing about once he relinquishes his wish, then
that's why you're right. It would have made more sense. It would have made more if and maybe that's the way it was. But like you said, I'm kind of cloudy about that. I don't know. I can't remember.
Showed that better. They should have showed that as like after he did it, all the wishes that were coming from him were all going. They should have done that a little bit better. The fights. I thought the fight scenes, the little fight choreography, I thought that was a lot worse than the first one, and that is because I think it's because they changed the stunt coordinator. It was Damon Carroll, who's like on BVS as well. He's kind of works with Zach, and he helped out. I think they needed somebody last minute for the first one, so he kind of helped out like that. And where Zach was producer, but this one they went with somebody different, and I just didn't like the action. I thought it was. The fight scenes, I don't think it stand up to. Like, this is not as good as the first one. The first one's my third ranked film for me, and it's not that here. This doesn't reach the heights that does, but I still enjoy it. And the thing with the action, I want to point out too, because Lisa from I Love the Movie podcast said that, which something that really stuck out to me, because this was after I watched it and I was listening. But maybe because this is a female superhero that's not geared toward the action's not like the movie's not geared toward action, which is fine.
Yeah.
And I will take that as that's actually something that I can be okay with if that was their idea. We're going to focus a little bit. I wish it was cleaner and crisper, and like the first one, I don't like downgrading. But like I said, maybe this was with the way the mall scene was in the winking and the nods and stuff. I think this was trying to take stuff a little less serious than the first one, which was like the backdrop was the First World War. So I think
the first one was more geared towards the Snyder universe.
This more grounded in my opinion. Not even grounded, just more like, I don't know, more stakes for me, more consequences. I don't know.
And you raise a great point about what Lisa said, and she's absolutely right. Maybe it was geared like that, but my thing is, I'm not asking for more action, but there's got to be some action in there because it's Wonder Woman. That's part of her thing. There was. Exactly, but I want that action to be done well. I'm not asking for more. I just want the stuff that's done well. Because I'm sorry, the mall scene, the motivations of the criminals, the actions they take, and I'm sorry that web slinging looks horrible, man.
Greg, the motivations, horrible. That's a whole nod to all the 80s movies and shows where you can't.
Yeah, I get that.
She said that. When she says that, I'm okay with that. Okay. That's why that's not in a criticism here, because that's what you're going for. Okay. While that might not appeal to me, I understand you pointed out point blank where you're going with it. So that's why it's not here, because it didn't appeal to me either. Like, I'm with you on that. I didn't enjoy it as much, but she said what she was trying to do there in terms of homaging like the old age, and it did. That's what movies were like too, where the hero would save somebody and wink at the little kid, and the kid be like, "Oh my God, this is awesome," kind of deal. Like, that's happened before. So I can't really. So I'm going to talk about the flight thing, which you said I enjoyed that Steve's message helped her figure out how to fly. I just thought it could have been much more epic, like Man of Steel, especially with you having Hans Zimmer. You could have made that flight scene far more epic, especially like you could have had Steve's words voiceover, a la Jarrell's words voiceover. You don't have to go exactly like it. but you could pick it could have been done better. But like I said, as a Justice League animated fiend, I love seeing this.
They did a good job with it. And you're right. They could have done better, but it still looked pretty good.
Yeah.
My issue with this is more of the writing. Is like you are now completely in full retcon mode of what you're doing, because you're telling me that she can fly, but in the
Well, she's
doomsday
riding
scene,
the wind more than
she
thing.
doesn't fly. Like, you don't think they'd
What
have a bigger advantage? She could fly in that fight.
there's no, I don't know if you watch it back. I don't know how many times there's a spot where she can fly. Like there's an advantage.
It's
Like
true.
that, she can.
That's why it's kind of wishy washy for me. You
No,
know.
well,
I mean, it's
I,
just, I don't know.
if you see her fly, like I don't think we'll see it in Justice League, but if you see it in future, I'm okay with that too. Like if Patty can't be handcuffed because for a 5-minute action scene,
This is
Wonder
true.
Woman didn't fly.
This is true. You're
So
absolutely right.
like, we got to
Yep.
keep open mind there when you come in
Mhm.
and take over from another director. Like Zach didn't use Atlantis, or he didn't give the Flash another costume, because you got to he tries, but there are stuff that he's already done before these people came in, so it's kind of tough.
Right. That's a
So
very good point.
yeah,
I think about that, because you wouldn't want to tell her, no, you have to play by these rules
yeah,
and you can't do
no,
this because of that. So that's a good point.
yeah. So not much 80s music in the whole score. I wanted more just in there. There wasn't, and even the 80s sign throughout the movie, as compared to what we got in trailers and stuff. I think could have taken more cues from Guardians of the Galaxy, where they're sent oh my god, fire. So I wish they would have like stuck more in the 80s. I don't think this is Zimmer's best work,
Mhm.
in my opinion. But like I said, if you enjoy it, more power to you. I don't want to rain in your parade. These are just some of the things I had. Like I don't. The rating is still not bad, but
Right.
this is just some of the problems I had. And like I said, it comes back to the writing for me. I didn't enjoy it. I think this has Jeff Johns written all over it, because uh, when you go back and look at Stargirl, the best episodes of Stargirl he didn't write as
Right.
well. And you go back to Justice League, he had a big hand in that. And you go back to uh, the Green Lantern movie. He's been in a lot of things. So
Mhm.
uh, I
It's
just
almost like
think
a
he's
stain to put his name on it.
no, I don't even think it's Stain, because I don't want to say that, because like you said, he's an exceptional comic book writer. I
Mhm.
think he's just I have enjoyed stuff like he did Arrow. He did the introduction of Huntress. He did that. He wrote one of the two parts, if not two of them. He's done some other things. He did the scientist part as well, so he can. But I don't think he's like outstanding movie writer. I think he's just a
Good writer.
TV, like an
Yeah.
average TV writer, like average at best for live action. Whereas
Okay.
in comics, he really stands out. And I didn't enjoy the writing for this. And I thought that I really hope Patty takes a third writer for the second, takes a different writer for the third.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know, based on the success of it, if she will, but you may be right. The writing for me is what probably was the worst part, is just little plot holes. Like, I don't like Wonder Woman being in a outfit in one scene, and then bam, a second later she's in full costume. For me, it's weird. I know, okay, Superman wears a suit under his clothes, but I just don't see Wonder Woman wearing. I don't know. I just didn't picture that. Bothered me. Maybe it'd be a big deal. I didn't like the end game and the motivations for Maxwell Lord on this, and I can't stand when a villain is defeated by being talked down, and that's virtually what happened
No,
in this.
but
He was
yeah,
talked down.
yeah,
You know,
but
it just bothers me.
she just defeated one of the villains 5 minutes ago with her bare hands, and uh, bare hands plus
Yeah,
electricity. So I
she
mean, her
totally got
talking.
Donna Troy.
What she? Yeah, well,
Yeah,
no, not really. She's an
I know.
animal.
I know.
An animal.
Yeah.
But I think that she's not going to kill him. Like I don't know what people expected. Like there was no chance she was going to kill him, especially after defeating him.
It's not a matter of killing him. It's a matter of there's in the final scene, spoilers, because this movie's been out for a little while. A lot of people have seen it. If you're listening to this, you've probably seen it. She can't get to him. Like she's trying, she can't get close enough to him to touch him. She gets blown backwards. She tries to throw the lasso 2 times. It doesn't work. Then it pans away from her. Then all of a sudden, while she's against this wall because she can't get up and she's been blown back, she somehow gets the lasso around his leg and talks to everybody else in the world through him and convinces him like
So that's wait, wait,
pronounce
wait,
Jewish.
wait, wait. So
It,
that's
it,
that. Wait, wait, wait. That's your problem. Instead of uh, a a woman made of clay, that's the daughter of Zeus that has mythical powers. Your reality objection is
no, see,
that the
no,
force. No, 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 no.
I can
That
do
the
that with
force
anything we
power.
talk about.
No, but the
Anything we
force.
talk about.
No, in the movie. See, if
Mhm.
you would have mentioned that, like if any of like that's I know that she can't get the thing, and that's a like I said, that's an example of bad writing. That's not an
Yeah, that's what I'm
example of,
talking about. That's bad writing. Yeah,
but that
that's all
just
I'm
that
saying.
part, but not no, but the whole speech that's not undercut and talking somebody down for a woman that's supposed to be able to do both, supposed to be able to be a like warrior that would kill, but also peaceful as well. She's got to be both, and I think they did it. I like this. This is not a dance off. Like this is not. Look, I actually enjoyed
Okay.
this, like her trying to get the message out, and she wasn't even talking to him. She was trying to talk to the other people.
Which is right. She didn't even really talk him down.
Yeah,
He saw his son, which for the most part of the movie he didn't care about much at all.
that was where my motivations in that.
And
That's
then all of
what
a
I had a
sudden
problem with.
he gives up this wish
You
for
didn't
him.
need to redeem him. You could have, if you were going another way, you could have had her, like, I guess, kill him or Cheetah kill him, or could have had some scenario where he ended up killing himself, bringing the whole building down on himself, anything like that.
Hmm.
But like I said, it's just I don't think it's the best written, but the performances, like all the actors
Mhm.
gave everything. Like I said, not seeing Kia's transformation, I had that written there. Dream Rock rules are all over the place here, where I think Barbara renounces her wish on the plane and then gets another one, or I've heard explained as well that it's just that uh, what Maxwell Lord can give
Mhm.
after giving other people wishes. Like he
Yeah,
can just give her this stuff.
he
That's what I.
explains that. He tells her that
Well,
because she even
wait,
asked. She's like, "I've already had my wish." Well, no, they explain. They
no,
explain.
explains. Come on, they don't go into.
No,
They don't. They,
I'm telling you, look, they explain it perfectly. Listen, he tells her, she says, I've already given my wish and you can't give me anything else. And he says, yeah, but it's different when you're the one who makes the wishes. Then, whenever he communicates with everybody and he's taking from them what they want, he says, give her this, give her that, give me this, give me that. So he's not granting her another wish. He's taking what he wants from other
no,
people
I
and
know,
just giving
I
it to
know,
her.
I know,
So
but it's
she didn't have
not.
to renounce her wish.
It's not as well explained as what you're saying there.
It,
I don't
you have
think
to catch it. You're right.
you've
You have to
watched the
catch it.
movie. You've
Yeah.
watched the movie how many times now?
Twice, and I'm
Yeah,
probably
I've
going to
only
watch it
seen
again
it.
for a while.
I've
Yeah.
only seen it
So
once. So,
yeah, but you're right. You're absolutely right. They don't explain that
and
perfectly, but you have to catch it.
and I
Yeah.
couldn't pause and rewind.
That's a good point too.
Yeah.
I did that a couple
So
times,
if I miss, I can't.
and I had
That's what I'm saying.
subtitles.
And I had that
So
person. I had. I'll talk about that after I'm finished this. My
okay,
experience in general.
yeah,
So yeah, the other thing I said was Barbara renouncing her wish. I think that's terrible. I think that you should have explained it better with when Maxwell Lord gave up his wish. All the other wishes stop. That would have been better because you could have had her more angry that she lost it, and you could have set her up as a potential villain to put in for another movie, or even not even. She doesn't have to have anything to do with the main plot for the third. She could be your opening scene of Wonder Woman fighting Cheetah and bringing her down.
yeah.
And I think that would like kick it off pretty good. I also want to see Wonder Woman win that competition. I want to see young Diana. I want to see Lily, the actress, Lily Aspen, I think her name is, win that
I
in
thought
the
she was
next
going
Wonder
to.
Woman.
Yeah.
I want to see her win it in the next one and be the Themyscira champion, and that's what leads into the first Wonder Woman. So love
I
her
like
to
that.
back end it like that. But yeah, I didn't hate this movie. I see people giving it an unnecessary amount of hate, and
Yeah.
I also see love. And while I don't understand it, I'm completely out for it. I hope it does amazing. I would never wish a movie do bad. For
Mhm.
me, it's just an average run of mill movie for me for my DC films. It's 6.5 out of 10. That's what I give it. I'm not sure exactly where I would rank it now. I know it's BVS, Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, and then Aquaman, Shazam, Wonder Woman 80. Nope.
You put one on for Squad.
I'm debating. I'm not sure yet about that. Those are I need to rewatch, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's tough to do it on the fly. Yeah, but
those two
you know the
because I've
first
only
few.
seen
Yeah,
one, and then the last one's Justice League. So That was a quick flyer on that, but that's just some of my thoughts there. Like I said, I don't get the hate. People really hate this movie. It's just some of the stuff's not for you. If it's not like the camp stuff, if that's not for you, the mall scene and stuff, more power to the people that it's for, because the warehouse scene is not for everybody in BVS.
Right.
The third act in Man of Steel is not for everybody. So, like I said, I'm completely fine with that.
Name some good ones there.
If well, just good one for us, some
Yeah.
very controversial for other people. So,
True.
yeah, I'll watch it again. I'll be excited to watch it with my girlfriend and see what she thinks. She hasn't watched the first Wonder Woman yet, so we'll do both. But like I said, I don't think it's anywhere near the magic of the first one. But I'm all for getting, like, I'm glad we got another story for Diana, and I hope the next one's in present day.
Yeah, and that's my thing too. Is I don't hate the movie. There are things I don't like about it, but overall, it wasn't a terrible movie. I think my rating's right around there where yours is 6.5, 6.75, somewhere there. It's not great. It's not in the top 5 of my DCEU movies, but I do like Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I would like to continue to see her as Wonder Woman. It's not saying I don't want her to be it anymore. I loved all the characters in this movie. I could see him again. I don't feel like it was a bad enough movie that I could say I don't want Patty Jenkins to direct it again, because I think she can do a great job. It wasn't a terrible movie. It's just it didn't.
The story wasn't good, great.
Yeah, it's not a movie that I want to go back and watch a lot.
The story was messy.
Yeah.
The story was messy, in my opinion. Chris Belg is in the chat, and I want to say that he talked in his opening statement about the writing being a problem and having fingerprints of a certain somebody on it, and then he didn't really talk about that in the actual, like, his actual time he was talking, not much anyway. So I fully agree with him. I was agreeing with him on the drive. I was like, oh, I hope he preaches about this, but he didn't really get much into it. I don't think that Johns did any favors for this script. I don't think it was. I think he had more of a hand in writing this one than he did the first one, and I think it shows. I think it really shows. And I hope, like I said, I hope Patty gets somebody else to help her with it next time.
Maybe she will. See what happens. I mean, we still got a long wait for that one, right? They've just approved it. Like, there's no
that's because she got
Rogue
Squadron as well. So it's gonna be
got a lot of things coming in the future. So, all right. Well, you got anything else you want to say about Wonder Woman 84? My dogs won't shut up. So
I'll have to call Gail to call them down.
Hey. All right. Well, let's go ahead and take a break then, man. We'll go on the last segment of the show.
Yeah, sure.
You do? All right, cool. Folks, once again, help keep the lights on. 30-second break. We'll be right back.
Holy crap, this hour went really quickly.
Tends to when you're having a good time talking about fun stuff, buddy. I know we've got to save a little time so that way I can smash you in 2K again, because I won the last game. But
you didn't play a real game. We'll stop about real games.
Anyway, what's the next thing on the topic on the list here, buddy?
Okay, I was going to go into one thing, but we'll talk about. We'll jump on this first because we'll leave the good Snyder stuff for the end there. Okay. So Ray Fisher talked about, tweeted out, when was this? This was a couple days ago now. He quote tweeted or shared the Walter Hamada article that we'll talk about in a little bit. And bad dog.
Yeah, bad dog.
Same to Walter Hamada. And said, this was on December 30th, and said, Walter Hamada is the most dangerous kind of enabler. He lies, and WB's PR's failed September 4th hit piece sought to undermine very real issues of the Justice League investigation. I will not participate in any production associated with him. Accountability over entertainment. So this is Ray Fisher doubling down, and like I said, I can't respect it even more because he could just be quiet from what happened and probably be in the Flash movie and not have to say anything. But instead, he's saying that nope, he hasn't faced anything. You're shoving like this puff piece of Walter Hamada now in the New York Times, which makes no sense to me. No one's asking why it's coming out right now because we haven't gotten anything else besides when he first was introduced. We got that stuff talking about him then as the new guy on DC Films, but we haven't heard much from him since then. And I commend Fisher for a statement and just for a stance, just not backing down at all.
Well, it's one of the things that I always complain about people that are in positions of power, people that are wealthy. You know, I would say Ray Fisher's a very successful man. He's probably not hurting for money. I'm not by any means going to say he's the richest guy out there, whatever. But I always complain about them taking stands, and then when it comes down to it, not following through. And that's exactly what he's doing when he says accountability over entertainment, accountability over entertainment. He means it, you know. And it's like you said, he's doubling down on this. And you're right. He could have just shut up and gone to the Flash movie and did whatever, but he's not doing that. And you're right. It gives a greater amount of respect for him, not just being words. Like he's serious about what he's talking about. Like it's nice to hear that.
Chris said, seems like your dogs don't like Hamada either.
No, they don't. That's the word I tell them to stop with. You know, Hamada, and they stop. So yeah, or they don't stop. That's the problem. Yeah, but yeah. It's cool. I mean, it's not cool to come out and see it. It's terrible. All this have happened, but it goes back to the whole thing of the remedial action being taken, and that's kind of what this comes from, right? It's just the remedial action being taken, nothing happening.
Well, we don't know what the remedial action is yet.
But it sounds like it's not much.
Well, like I said, we don't exactly know. It could be just a slap on the wrist is what we seem like it might be, but I guess we got to get into this article, which is basically a puff piece of all puff pieces for Hamada, in my opinion. It's titled "Managing Movie Superheroes is about to get a lot more complicated." Walter Hamada, who runs DC Films, is overseeing a dizzying number of projects, part of a swarm of comic book based stories coming from Hollywood. It's just I'm just reading part of it now and what I want to even talk about. He's like, with every movie we're looking at now, we're thinking what's the potential Max spin-off, he said. Then they're giving him props for the three movies that were produced while he's been head, which is Joker, Shazam, and Aquaman. Aquaman was in production and well underway before he got here. And that wasn't the movies he was brought in for. He was brought in for the Shazam and Birds of Prey type movies, the smaller budgets that can turn a profit. So I don't think he had much of a hand in Aquaman. What I would have said there was changing Aquaman's date may have had a big hand in leading its $1 billion charge, instead of basically taking all credit for Aquaman, even though you didn't have anything to do with it. And Joker here, because according to Todd Phillips, we've gotten that on record that Hamada was like staunchly against Joker, didn't want it to happen, didn't understand it, but didn't have enough clout to stop it.
Right.
And I think that's one thing. He never had enough clout to stop it back then. So I think that this is coming out because that's what I find funny. They're like including creative misfires and management turnover before he came. They're talking about the BVS and Man of Steel and Super Suicide Squad, but all those were really successful compared to Birds of Prey and Shazam. And I think placement for Shazam, well, I guess that's why they didn't talk about placement for Aquaman, because placement for Shazam could have been like a lot better, not in between Endgame and Captain Marvel.
Right.
Here's 3 weeks to do a little bit. You could have changed it. So and him getting credit for the Wonder Woman 84 movie is another thing, because he wasn't brought in for that. Like I said, he was brought in for the Shazams, the Birds of Prey, the lower budget. That's what he's trying to do. And to take the shots at Zack Snyder's Justice League in this, talking about saying that it's a cul-de-sac, like it's a story that goes nowhere. Hamada doesn't say that. A source tells the writer of this, which is nonsense in my opinion.
Right.
It's and they take a kind of a shot at HBO Max as well, because of all this, Greg. Like, the most important thing, Kevin Smith said this on his podcast, asked this: why is this coming out now? Why are you saying that there is no chance for any other movies after Zack Snyder's Justice League. Why are you saying that before it comes out? Why wouldn't you say that after it came out and you got all the reception
It's a
and all
last
the
stand.
response? No, but
Yeah.
why? Yeah, but why would you do that? You would do that because you don't want the film to do as good. You don't want there to be anymore. That's not what you want in your plans.
Right.
That's what this basically spells out for me. Is like we have two factions. We have the HBO Max faction, the Warner, and the DC Films faction, the Hamadas, and even the Emmerich to an extent. But although I think he's kind of phasing over towards corporate a little bit. But you got that old guard there that like is not in this neither, and you got this other part. But you don't see Claire saying this until Claire will say, "We're not doing any more Zack Snyder business." If after Zack Snyder's Justice League, he gets numbers back and they're not good.
Mm-hmm.
But if they are good, he's not going to say it, but he's not going to come out 2 months before. This seems like a recipe for Hamada having to either come back and say, I guess I was wrong,
Which I don't think is going to happen.
or pretend like this never happened.
That seems more likely.
But I also think that this is like I'm still here, I'm still in charge, but you're not really. If you couldn't stop Joker back then, and now Warner Media is here and HBO Max is here, I think that it's just like this article's a little loony, if you ask me. Like it's a lot of propping up Walter Hamada for something that I don't even know. I don't know how much power he's going to have in 6 months. So I think using this and this boards out another thing too. But we have Chris in the chat saying people now jumping all over Zach. What Zach said on comic book debate that he has no plan to carry on past Justice League, but he has. You'll never know because I don't think I would be here. I listened to that full interview, Chris, and we're going to talk about that after we get finished. This Hamada, a little bit of nonsense. And Chris also said Joss has basically gone into timeout, and Johns escapes with nothing but a slap on the wrist to have to go to Image for his comic.
Yep.
But that's what I don't like seeing, especially Hamada saying, like, basically telling Fisher, like, don't go after Johns, go after, like, that's the part of the problem. That's the same kind of problem where you're not going to be, whoever really did stuff is not going to be held accountable. And I don't like that at all. That's sad.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me a little bit of like a bad football coach. You know, like we'll just say you have a team that has a coach and everybody, or of a head coordinator or offensive coordinator, everybody's pumping them up to be the next head coach. But based on what? Like, if you look at Armada's, experience. Like
He's
the movies. The movies he wasn't with were very successful. The ones he was against being made were successful, and the ones that he were in, I'm not gonna say weren't successful, but weren't as successful.
Let's first of all, the one he was against, not ones.
Okay,
there's only one.
Okay,
and
either way, that one was $1 billion movie.
Yeah, but there was a lot of people that didn't. Lot. He wasn't alone in his thinking that it wasn't going to be a $1 billion movie. So,
and it's like that with everything.
I'm more doing it for the article, like how they're stretching the truth a little bit here, in my opinion. And it just, like I said, this shot about and in this weird. I don't like this either. This is. When Hamada arrived at DC Films in 2018, division was in need of urgent need of stability. Two terrifyingly expensive movies, BVS and Justice League, both directed by Zack Snyder, were deemed almost unwatchable by critics.
No,
like this is that shot for no reason. In the same article that you said is that Zack Snyder's Justice League is never going to go anywhere. It's a cul-de-sac to nowhere.
That's a good point.
It's like I said, this part of this sect of Warner Media, DC Films, and WB Pictures did not want to make Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yes,
had no intent, and like to say this is a cul-de-sac thing, I think is just so stupid. Why would you do that now? Like, why would you say this wait until the numbers come out? This makes no sense. This is just like cutting stuff off at the knees, or trying to, just like they're doing their best to make sure it doesn't succeed.
Well,
you would think one of your only two movie properties of 2021 new releases, and you're saying that it's going nowhere. Yeah. So I just don't like that you're bashing the person that made it into other things you're talking about here that doesn't need to go into this article at all, and you put it in there. And like they're talking about new actors can take over the character. James Bond's the best example. Daniel Craig's been James Bond since 2005. 15 years. So what we talking about here? What this sounds like is you've read Hector's tweet before you wrote this, so you had to stick that little tiny bit in there too about James Bond being best example.
Yep.
Because that doesn't make it, like I said, I'm just and yes, he said that yes, the audience is sophisticated enough, and like Chris said here, he's ticked that Zach got the win on him, and clearly it's his way of tagging him back. But Zach is classy enough to not even address it, which I 100% agree. And I also think here this is just Hamada basically trying to, like, he doesn't want to lose his job. I don't think you're not going to go. He's not going to take over another studio any bigger than WB after if he gets let go from this coming for New Line. He's going to go back to a smaller studio, and Obi agrees with me. So
yes, yeah.
So yeah, like I said, it was just a terrible puff piece. And then from that today, Brooks Barnes replied to a tweet. He's the person who wrote this article, saying this random person on January 1st, said, "Hi, this only come." I don't know why this. He replied on January 1st, but this only got momentum today, which is really funny. Hi, Brooks Barron. Based on your Hamada piece, some have interpreted that WB is doing 2 franchises starring Batman, one with Pattinson and one with new actor. Is that correct? Or are you referring to Keaton as the second Batman being part of a non-Batman centric saga? Thank you. And he says Keaton. And then a lot of people are saying now that it's going to be like Keaton is going to be Batman Beyond's old Bruce, and Batgirl is going to be the Bat running around right now. And like I said, I'm cool to see that, and I'd love to see that as Batman Beyond with Keaton, but I don't think that 100% means that we're not, like, this doesn't mean that Ben Affleck's not going to be in the Flash. This doesn't mean like we're only seeing one Batman next year in 2021, and that is Ben Affleck. So, like I said, I'm not going to take what Brooks Barnes replies in a tweet as like gospel. He's a high-level reporter for the New York Times, 2007, former Wall Street Journal, but I mean, we got from Wall Street Journal that Ben Fritz article 2 years ago saying Snyder Cut is never going to come out and doesn't exist. There's no chance, and then it comes back around. So this is why having this fellow talk about this and reply saying that Keaton is the Batman DCU. We don't know that yet, and if it is, I love it. I'm okay with it. If we get Pattinson out on his own Earth, which I think everyone thinks that's the way it's going to be, but I still think, like I said, this is being if Zack Snyder's Justice League is a huge hit, and this is and they go to Ben Affleck says I want to do my Batman story on HBO Max, they're not going to say no. So I think Brooks Barnes getting a lot really ahead of himself.
Well, that's what this tweet, linked in these ones you put in our chat here. It says I feel like Pattinson's Batman's in his own universe. Flash is reigniting Keaton's universe. So they can do Batman Beyond, and Batfleck is in DCU with no films until we see what happens with
That's exactly what I think it is, and that's what Walt, a very great follow in my opinion, on Twitter. Let me get his actual Twitter handle because
it's Josh
Uber Kryptonian.
Yeah, Uber Kryptonian. Yeah. Oh, he's replying to Josh. That's right. Yeah.
He says that like I said, and I agree with that. Right now, I feel like if Pattinson's in his own universe, Flash is just using the Flash to reignite the Keaton universe, and they're going to just so they can do Batman Beyond. Yeah. And I think Batfleck is right now in DCU, but they're going to revisit that after Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I could live with that.
Yeah.
If they don't, with that right there,
I'm also cool. I just want to point out to everyone, I'm also completely fine that if this is it, completely fine. Like I never thought we'd get this at this point in time, so completely fine.
Yeah. I mean, once again, Affleck's my favorite. Batman of all of this, but I would love to see all these on here. It'd be really, really fun. I mean, you could even figure out some kind of situation to bring Christian Bale back for something,
Well, Chris replied in the chat saying the reporter never said he was the new Batman in DCU, just saying that who the other Batman is being referred to. But in the story, it says that they're going to go with 2 storylines, like 2 Batman. So if Pattinson is the one in one universe on one Earth, then Keaton has to be the other one that they're talking about in this article
Yeah,
that Hamada's talking about.
yeah, the exact quote is coming up. For instance, Warner Bros. Will have 2 different film sagas involving Batman, played by 2 different actors running at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're definitely.
He's saying Keaton's the other one here. So, but
Yeah.
like I said, I don't know how much Brooks Barnes knows. Like I don't trust anybody that's reporting like this Jumpman this, and I think that this is just like I said, a puff piece for Walter Hamada, and it's over it.
Mhm. Yeah, agreed.
Okay, so until we get some official casting from WB or the director Andy Muschietti, like who said Ben Affleck is going to be in the Flash, and we found out Michael Keaton's going to be in the Flash that way. So unless we get something from them, I'm not going to take Brooks Barnes' replies on Twitter as facts, and I really wish some other people do too, because I've seen Keaton as Batman flying around. It's actually trending, and actually Batflick is trending as well for me. Batman and Ben Affleck is trending, so I find it really funny that all that is going on. But
I don't know how to check or how to see what's trending. I just get on Twitter and talk to y'all.
there's a Explore thing there,
Yeah,
and there's also at home. There's a thing on the right that says what's happening, and it's trending there.
don't need it. Don't need it. I
On
guess
your
guess
You're about the laziest Twitter user. You're about the laziest news gatherer I've ever seen.
I don't do social media, man. That's not my thing. You know.
I'm not telling you to tell me what you have for lunch every day or anything like that. Time me looking up trends of like Ben Affleck or Mark Gasol is trending right now.
You know what the problem is when I start doing that and then I post something to the Twitter, like to the group feed. It's either A, y'all have already talked about it, or B, it's from somebody that's not reliable. So I'm just like, well, okay, I'll just listen to them then. Figure something out.
Oh, wait.
Y'all are my newsfeed.
Not going then. I suppose that's where we get a problem. You got to dive deeper into your news feeds. We got this cover says true, like Chris said, we got this covered.
I took them off my news feed to y'all's recommendation, so I don't get. Although somehow they're still showing up on my little Google timeline thing. Like whenever I open up Google, it brings up we got this covered feed. And I'm like, swipe away, like get away. I don't want to read this.
One last quick break before we get into the little last topic and would you rather.
We can. But we've already had 2 breaks.
Oh, we had 2 breaks.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Okay, so just one quick thing too. Zack Snyder was on Comic Book Debate today with the Fruity Brothers. I watched the full interview. It's really good. There's not a whole lot of new nuggets he shared there. Basically, did say his favorite NBA player right now is LeBron James, the King.
Yeah.
But he also talked about working his first few jobs as commercials were with Michael Jordan, and talked about how amazing Michael Jordan was, and played Michael Jordan one-on-one, and Michael Jordan dunked on him.
Michael Jordan is amazing. I'm
just like, before you go like Zack Snyder loves LeBron, just let you know that was told. Just the stories were told. The story was told. So yeah, he talked about that. He showed a very badass picture in his background the entire time, which was the picture they were thinking about using, like their placeholder as the Crimea War. And Wonder Woman's like a boss there holding several heads of people in her hand. And I love that. I think we got some outrage from that sense. People saying like, you don't know the character if that's the case. And I'm just like, no, like come on, man. Let's calm down. Like let's calm down a little bit there. So he answered a few questions, said some inspirations, nothing we didn't hear before, except said that he would like to do an Elektra story that Frank Miller wrote where Daredevil was seeing Elektra in his dreams.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's essentially everything. It was fun. I love Zach going on repaying these people that have been supporting him from the entire time. So so cool.
So I want to ask you this picture right here. You're saying that's the one that was in the background of that interview you did, that a person asked the question at the very end. What picture is that behind you?
No one even asked. I don't think they didn't even talk about it. He just had it there as like in his.
There was one picture he had in one of the interviews he did where somebody at the very end asked, "What picture is that?" And he said, another day.
This happened yesterday. This happened today. So it's okay. You're thinking about something that happened.
I'm thinking about something totally different then. Yeah, that's what I was. Okay. Oh,
So this
cool.
was just like I said, this was the placeholder. They eventually put it as the World War One. The photo that Zach is actually in, uh, the one that Wonder Woman gets in her first movie. Like that's the one that they went with actually. But this is the placeholder. This is what they had done in this place just to keep it there for that time being.
It's a pretty awesome looking picture.
It was just a placeholder in BVS
Hmm.
that was taken for Patty was hot. Patty was hired. So pretty cool. And like I said, awesome for Zach to just give back like he's always been doing.
Yeah. All right. What else you got? Would you rather's?
Yep.
That's it. All right, cool. Put 2 out this week. I try to get at least 2 out every week, but these are difficult to think about sometimes. So I try to kind of do them New Year's based. So we have our first one this week. It's would you rather receive or relive 2020 for 3 years in a row and own Joe's actually his comic book collection, which is an amazing comic book collection. Just looking at it, is awesome. Or just looking at a picture of it, excuse me, I'm looking at it. Or erase 2020 from your memory, and you can have my comic book collection, which I don't know if you can see behind me. I have a rack, a couple boxes. You're looking like 200 to maybe a few thousand. So most people it's funny because the beginning of this vote, most people were voting for the comics.
I went with Joe's.
Yeah, a lot of people were voting for the comics. It was in the lead, and I checked it today, and actually, people wanting no 2020 won the vote. So
I would have took 3 2020s because 2020 wasn't really as rough here where I'm from. So
I
that's
hear you.
why I said that.
Yeah, and that was
Selfishly.
kind of the thing was for some people it wasn't as bad, So, but 2020 still sucks. It's over now. Hopefully, we can get by it or get past it and do something else. But we had a second one here, and this one really surprised me. And this one was one that it kind of boggled my brain.
Really?
Yeah, it really did. And
DC Alliance podcast.
I'll explain it. Hold on, I'll explain it. So you only get to watch one streaming service for all of 2021. Would you rather have Netflix, HBO Max, Disney Plus, or Hulu? I was debating on putting Hulu or Apple on there, but I know more people that have Hulu than Apple, just me personally. So I figured it's the best way to go. It's a little more accessible, I think, for a lot of people. So
I can't get Hulu.
Who'd you vote for? Obviously, HBO
I can't get Hulu. We can't get Hulu.
You can't get Hulu? Okay. So maybe that was different.
Apple.
Yeah, okay. Well, who'd you vote for in this one?
I voted for Disney Plus,
Okay.
and I can also see why HBO Max won because I just did it because I'm pissed off with HBO Max. But if I could pick one to watch, I would pick HBO Max. But I just don't have access to it right now. That's why I picked Disney Plus out of spite. But if I could take one for the content library, I don't think there's a question here that I'm taking HBO Max. I'm gonna miss the Disney Plus shows for 2021, but I'll get it back in 2022 and rewatch it. Yeah. Whereas Zack Snyder's Justice League, I need to watch it as it comes out. So that's why HBO Max will be the one for me.
Yeah, and that's why this is such a difficult question. I think I ended up voting HBO Max anyway because you're right. It's kind of for me, Zack Snyder's Justice League is number one, the thing I've got to watch next year above anything else. If I couldn't see anything else, that's what I'm going to watch. Everything else after that is kind of staggered. I'm really looking forward to everything Disney Plus has with Star Wars and Marvel coming out. So getting rid of Disney Plus is like, it'd be tough to do that. I love Netflix because they always have good original content on there. But to be honest with you, since I got HBO Max, I got it because obviously I wanted to see Wonder Woman 84, but I also wanted the content that HBO has that I've seen people talk about and some of their original content. I haven't watched really anything else. Like every time I get on my TV, I'm putting HBO Max on, and maybe it's just because it's new to me. There's a lot of new stuff, but they have a lot of really good new content. It's just like I said, only because Zack Snyder's Justice League is number one. Like if it wasn't for that, I might even say Disney Plus, just because they have a lot of great content coming out next year too. Like with not just next year, but in the future, with all the Star Wars and other Marvel. So, we talked to Brent about it, and Brent said, obviously, with the DC podcast, HBO Max is going to win.
I agree with him.
It's a fair point. You're absolutely right. It's somewhat biased as a DC podcast. But I feel, I think neck and neck, it's got to be HBO Max and Disney Plus. I don't think Netflix or Hulu would stand a chance in this competition otherwise.
Yeah, I agree.
Even though actually, I say that Netflix got 29% and Disney Plus.
Yeah, I think that Netflix is eventually going. Yeah, I think that's more what's going on now. But I don't think that any comic fan would rather Netflix than Disney Plus for 2021.
Right.
Maybe general audience people. Maybe that's where it's hit. But I don't think any comic fan. If you're a fan of comic properties.
And the thing is, any streaming service you have is going to have some really awesome stuff. There's so much stuff out there right now, so it's just kind of a choice of what you want, I suppose.
I gotta say something too that I forgot to say in my review segment. I don't understand why they put the golden armor in her apartment. Uh, that she flew and then went back and got that and then went again made no sense to me. They should have
After she
had
was already
they
healed
should have
100%.
had they should have had the suit of armor in a cave somewhere along the way that she could have just stopped the got, and then you could have told that. I wish they would have done that way, because it just was another back and forth thing that I didn't quite make sense. That's all.
See, that right there, I get what you're saying. That doesn't bother me as much as the fact that she doesn't go get the armor until after she's already back to 100% and healed. Like, wouldn't you want to use that armor when you're not 100%, don't have all your powers? And then whenever you have all your powers, you don't need the armor as much. It just seemed kind of backwards. She didn't get the armor till after she was already back to 100%. So, but, once again, movie. Dang it, I had one more thing I wanted to ask you, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, well. Couldn't have been that important. But
Okay.
all right, man, I think that's it, right?
It is.
I think we went through all the notes, all the stuff right here. We've hit our time limit. So, awesome, folks. Let's tell everybody, or excuse me, folks. Travis, let's tell everybody where they can find you, buddy.
You're used to having 2 or 3 people on. You can find me on Twitter at Travis_156. Just drop me a line and we can chat about DC anytime.
Okay. I remember what I was going to say now. I did forget to plug one show in the intro. Superhero Discussions.
Yeah, I forget that. Superhero Discussions.
Superhero Discussions. The show you and I are on.
Superhero Discussions is like Rodney Dangerfield for you. Can't get no respect. Got no respect.
I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it midway through the show, and I was like, "No, I'll bring it up at the end." That was the one I'm pretty sure that I forgot. I'll have to go back and listen. But either way, Superhero Discussions. Check us out. Batman the Animated Series right now. You can find me at the Bad Daddy 52 on Twitter. I hang out with Travis here a few nights a week. We do a couple podcasts, and you can also find me at the C3 Panthers podcast. We do post-game shows, but now the Panther season is over, live Tuesday nights, Eastern Standard Time on YouTube.
Thank God, the Panthers season's over.
Oh
it's
gosh,
dead, buried.
Yeah, seriously, until next season. So, but all right, man. Well, great show. And folks, until next week, keep pounding.
Later, everybody.